Welcome back to Excel, a mental evolution podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Seth Rose. And today is episode 51, where we are continuing the Tranquility by Tuesday by Laura Vanderkam, where she outlines practical time management strategies designed to help you stay calm and peaceful and tranquil amongst the stressful chaos of everyday life. And today's tip, or rule as she calls them, is to create a backup slot. And so what she's saying here is that, during the week, there is obviously a lot of unpredictability. And that can be in your life, in your sport, at your job life, just in general, really, right? If you're still in school, there's a lot of things that just like come up. And sometimes you have things planned and those plans go through the wayside because something else comes up that you have to attend to. And that's just a normal part of life, right? And she emphasizes that these things called backup slots, where we are planning times during the week at certain times to remind us to work on things that we want to improve on or things that we have planned. These things help provide flexibility, and it helps athletes and performers and people at work to stay on track without feeling behind. They're essentially buffers that help prevent feelings of discouragement or stress when plans all of a sudden change, which plans typically do change. So how do we still work towards our goals, have that flexibility, and not be stressed or discouraged when we can't do those things that we want to? A key example here is a couple, actually. One, professional tennis player Serena Williams. She used to intentionally schedule time specifically for recovery or any unexpected needs that she would have. And so if something came up where she was planning on getting like a recovery session in, and if she wasn't able to do it, she knew that she had like a buffer or backup slot later on where there was a time that was dedicated to recovery. So that way she could continue showing up as a top performer and had that flexibility in case, I'm sure at her level, a lot of things come up, media appearances and deals and, commercials and all those different things. And so she planned that. Another example is, for example, somebody who is in academia and they are trying to publish research, and there's a lot of writing involved with publishing research. And then you also have to remember that they have to plan out future studies that they can run those studies to get future publications. And so oftentimes professors are so wrapped up in their teaching job and their mentoring and supervising of students that they lose track of the planning and writing of their publications, which is a large part of their job. And so creating backup slots, carving out that time, is very important to still work on those things amidst things derailing you and your schedule. So some of the practical tips that Vanderkam talks about in creating these backup slots or these buffer slots is to designate a catch-up window. So she says to block 1 or 2 open slots each week and use them for catching up on things. Ideally, it's like a couple hours each week, and it's for those unexpected tasks to prevent them from derailing your schedule. You can also make these backup slots flexible but protected. So the second tip is, instead of just random time slots that are used for catching up, you are blocking the time and protecting the time. They can be moved if needed, but they're treated as such as like non-negotiable ways to work on things that you want to work on. And maybe that's working on a habit that you are trying to form in your 3 days a week, like from the last episode. Or maybe it's, journaling or meditating or exercise. And it's so that way you can help manage surprises without any stress. And then the last tip here for athletes and performers specifically is to use these just like Serena Williams did, and use it for recovery. So, using this time as non-negotiable dedicated time for restorative activities like meditation, mindfulness, breath work, foam rolling, other recovery modalities, stretching, yoga. So creating a backup slot can help address the unpredictability of life, and it helps you keep on track without feeling behind. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll catch you on the next one.